Yes.
legitimacy.
Yes.
It would be really nice to be able to start helping out with some of this.
Yes. We definitely need a new GoPro for the build factor because this one sucks.
Is that the factor, huh?
Alright guys, welcome back to Build Factor 2.0!
Oh, your voice got really smoky for a second.
Yeah, it did.
I like that.
It's a little rustic.
Ooh.
So, you know, guys, it's been some time since we got on this single cam project. We ran into some issues. It's not Aaron's fault. Ran into some issues, man. I pulled some threads out on this head over this block for the head. Pulled them out, and it was probably about a 3-week process to get it resolved, get all the time certs put in. It was a headache. It was stressful. I felt like I was going to break something the whole time, and it was going to be, I needed to get a new block, blah, blah, blah. But between Aaron and myself, we persevered. We made it through it. We got all the time certs put in, and we're at the point now of getting back with this and getting it put together. So, hopefully. We will.
We think.
We will. So, got some brake cleaner on the block. Took some the paint off, so we're gonna have to retouch that up. Not a big deal, but she's still here, guys, and she's gonna be making some killer boost in no time. So, we're gonna go ahead and clean these head studs up. We're gonna take some measurements. We're gonna make sure that with the time certs, the ARP head studs actually go all the way down where they need to be, so that we don't run out of thread on the top side where it actually bolts down. We want to make sure that we're all the way down. And so yeah, we're going to take some measurements and go ahead and get this head put on for the second time, and hopefully get it done the right way and it tightens down without pulling out any threads. So
Basically what I'm doing, if you look, I'm taking because the way the certs work is, even though you use the installer tool, the bottom is kind of tapered in a little thicker, so that when you run the threads of the install tool in, it kind of presses it to the block. That's just kind of how they're built. So even when you run the install tool down through, that's not a very good example.
yeah.
So basically, yeah, here we go. There we go. So they're a little bit pressed in down here. Whether they do a thicker wall to make it a little tighter to push out or what, I don't know. It just seems like they're kind of belled in at the bottom. But when you run the install tool, so you put your install tool in, right? You run it down in there. When this catches at the stop of your threads, then the install tool starts to kind of make its way down through the inner threads. When it gets to the bottom about 3 or 4 threads, it starts to press the cert out into the block. So we run it through, kind of bring it back, run it through, bring it back. You know, there's oil on the install tool, so it's not hurting the threads. It's just kind of pressing it in there. Well, even if you do that a couple times, the threads are still just a little, it's not hand threadable, it's just a little tight. So what I like to do, because when you're threading this head stud in, if you thread down, it's like nice, hand installable, but then you get to that bottom 3 or 4 threads, it feels like, okay, it's getting tight. So what I like to do is mark the distance of our threads. So once I start it in the thread, I make a mark. So I know if I get that down to the surface of the block, my head stud is installed all the way into the cert.
Yep.
Which I know that's pretty basic, but you guys wonder
Just
what I'm
making
doing.
sure that it's all the way down. So because the reason why I pulled, the reason that I screwed up the threads on this is when I took the head off, a couple of the head studs backed out, and I didn't have them all the way down when I went and torqued them. So that means only a couple of the threads were in the block when I went and torqued it. It wasn't seated all the way down. So we're just double checking, make sure that it's seated all the way, and once we make sure that that's all the way down, we'll be good to go. And if we have to add a couple extra washers on there, we can.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it works. I've seen people do it.
Really?
Yep.
Seems like a sketchy thing. What was I worried about then? I was getting these all like perfect, like, I mean, like down to the thread, you know, one thread, like, okay, now it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I didn't need to.
Throw a washer on there, call it good. As long as it torques down, right? Yep. Good to go.
That's the first time I've heard that philosophy.
Yep. As long as she takes the bullet, we're good.
It's a little different approach, my friend.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I like to be unorthodox when it comes to things. Should we put all these head studs in?
Let's
Oh,
put
I
all
need
the
to
head
clean.
studs
I
in.
need to clean all these head studs. Let's mount this camera somewhere and
You mount the camera.
mount this camera, and then we're gonna clean these head studs because I don't want nasty stuff going into these new time.
So, ARP has their goo that they tell you to put on here. If we were going into the aluminum threads and hand threading these down the whole way, I would probably do that. Time certs respond to oil a little bit better. So, oh, they're over here. Sorry.
Right here, I got them.
Okay, there's one there and there's two, like 1.5 over there. So basically what I'll do is I'll put oil on these through the time cert, and then we'll use ARP's paste on here when we torque the head bolts down.
Torque them down. Oh.
Oh my goodness!
issue again. We got everything torqued down. We re-time sorted everything. Everything went to torque. Everything sat down right but one. So the back, the passenger back corner did not tighten down. It stayed at 30 pounds and did not torque. So at this point, I'm so frustrated and over it that we're gonna roll with it. 9 of them are at 60 pounds torque. One of them is at 30. So we're gonna go with it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll take the head off. If I'm popping head gaskets and stuff like that, I will take this head off, and I will do another cert. All the other certs work, so it's just this one. So I'll have to take the head off and fix that one cert in the back, and we'll be good. So we'll play it by there. We'll play it by ear and do that. But I have a brand new water pump that I'm going to put on this, and go ahead and get that done now. Got the new water pump on, got the new tensioner on, got the timing belt on, got the head on, almost all the way. 9 out of 10 are good, so we're gonna roll with it. If it doesn't work, I'll take the head off and we'll do a new time cert in that one spot. So, but all in all, I feel good about it. I think it's gonna work great. Sucks that we couldn't get that one to work, but it's halfway in there, so. But yeah, so I'm gonna call it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night. Like and subscribe, and keep watching. You might see this thing blow up.